All right, we're live on Facebook. Pretty cool. So everybody who is joining, hello everyone. I think it's for sixth time, isn't it, Ben, today?
Yeah, this is the sixth webinar, huh?
Sixth webinar, yeah. Tomorrow it's the last one. Anyway, today we're talking about workflow optimization hacks 101 with Publist. I have no idea how I came up with this topic, but I think it's going to be quite cool. We have some updates for you about the server issues and so on. We want to cover, and also if you have, as usual, any questions, just reach out to us in the comment section on the Facebook page, or on the watch party in our Facebook group, or if you're watching on Zoom, you can reach out to us on Zoom as well. Now this webinar will be available on replay too, on YouTube and on Facebook, of course. So if you need to leave during this webinar, it's okay, and you can watch it later on the replay. So anyway, my name is Jakub. I'm CMO of PitchGround. I'll be hosting this webinar, and we are today with Ben, and he is a co-founder, and you're actually product hacker or something like that at Publist, right?
Head of growth. So I've got a similar title to you.
Head of growth, yeah. It's amazing. So tell me, Ben, what is actually head of growth doing in Publist? Really quickly before we jump into the press kit as usual.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a whole other topic. We've got plenty of growth to manage right now. Yeah, so I handle all the sales and marketing and business development. So, creating partnerships like PitchGround, and then, figuring out which features everybody in the group needs, handling all the requests, the customer service requests, bugs, and then just, other marketing activities. So that's all me.
Amazing. All right, so everybody who is joining, once again, we are talking about workflow optimization hacks with Ben, and how can actually Publist help you to optimize your workflow by connecting multiple cloud solutions and apps into one place. So Ben, why don't we start with the press kit as usual? So for people who are watching for the first time, they get the context what we are actually trying to solve.
I'll share my screen, and then I'll also go over those server issues like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, maybe you guys noticed that Publist is going a little bit slower now from the technical perspective. So Ben will tell us why is that.
There you go. Can you see my screen here?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Awesome. So before I get into this press kit roadmap, all that interesting stuff, as you guys noticed, yeah, we've had a bit of issues with the server load, because all you guys have been using Publist a lot more than we expected, which is wonderful. But our servers are trying to catch up, right? So we actually just hired 2 new engineers to fix that problem. One to fix the servers and to make Publist as fast as it can be, and the other to start going through all of the feature requests that you guys have been giving us, because Will just can't build them all. But they're all great ideas, and we do want to see them all done. So things should start to get quicker now that we have these 2 new hires. And then here we can start getting into this this press kit.
So they're actually your first hires, right?
Well, we've had a few others, just like short-term stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, these like in recent history, these are our first 2 real hires.
So these guys will be spending like 16 hours a day with you, as you do.
Hopefully they don't know it yet. It'll be 16-hour days.
Yeah, working for a startup, it doesn't mean like 8 hours, 9 to 5. No, it's like all the time, 15 hours a day. It's included. All right, let's keep going.
All right, so yeah, a bit of background on Publist. How we got to where we are today, and why we built the cloud solution that we built. So again, I'm head of growth. I've been worked on a few startups previously. Got most of my growth skills running a big group for day traders, and then worked on some blockchain startups in Seattle. And Will's been working on startups since he was 19, but been writing code since he was 12. You can see a bit about him here. And then moving into Publist, I'm sure all of you guys have noticed. It'd be hard to miss, but the cloud is exploding. Cloud software is everywhere, and it's really hard to escape at this point. And it's really not going anywhere. And the main motivation behind Publist is that there's tons of benefits to the cloud and lots of like really specialized tools that we have on the cloud, but we also lost a lot when we moved onto the cloud. And you know, we used to just do all of our work out of our desktop, and it was a really convenient place to keep all of your files, to keep all of your apps, and you knew that everything was in one place, and it was really easy to manage. And now all of our data is siloed. So it's siloed in, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 different apps, you know, for any given project. And it's just hard to find and hard to manage. So we want to bring back the convenience of your desktop while maintaining all of the benefits of the cloud. So as you know, I mean, the cloud's not going anywhere. And there's some really interesting trends, you know, as a part of this movement to the cloud, that definitely have helped get Publist to where it is today. Everything's becoming hyper collaborative. As you can see in Publist, you know, we're trying to integrate with absolutely everybody that we can. You've seen a lot of knowledge bases and note centralization come up, and we think that's just because people have so much more information to manage now. And just to even keep it straight in your head is getting tougher. So you need one place to see it all, and we're trying to, you know, build that into Publist as well. Everybody has their own APIs, and again, this is what allows us to start connecting with all of the apps that people use. And people are just starting now that they have so many silos of data to really focus on controlling it. And so that's where we want to help them do that and then condense their apps into fewer apps. So let me just gloss over this bit, because I think most people have a pretty solid understanding now of what Publist is doing. But if you're new, here's a quick intro to Publist. I'll show you some more later. But we connect all of your apps so you can have everything you use to do work in one place. And yeah, here's our code viewer. We've got a bunch of other file viewers built.
For all the nerds who are watching.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, if you see the screenshot, you can literally make your Publist on your own. Like.
Yeah, see, that's the whole code base right there.
That's the whole code. Yeah, they're like lean coding, so.
Yeah, Will's a really efficient developer. Yeah, so we're trying to get, you know, 100+ integrations. We're up to 12 right now, but how we built the back end, it's incredibly quick for us to add new integrations. And now that we have some more help, we can do it even faster. So definitely keep giving us all those suggestions. I've been loving that. Yeah,
I noticed that actually one of the most common suggestions are the integrations. So yeah, what are the integrations you are working on right now?
Well, so right now integrations are on the back burner right now, just because we have so many other features that need to get built first. Now that we've got some extra help, we'll probably be able to get back to them sooner rather than later. I think Evernote is actually next up. And then we've got, you know, you can check it out on the list on the coming soon page. All sorts of things in the works. And then last thing, you know, about Publist, and, you know, I've given you a bit of information about, you know, what inspired us to build Publist, but what's really interesting is where we're going with Publist. And so here you can see that we're trying to build an app suite. And, you know, at a glance, this looks similar to, you know, the Google App Suite with Google Docs, just like Publist Pages, Google Sheets, you know, Publist Presenter and Publist Publisher. But it's actually going to be a lot more than that. So on a surface level, yes, we're going to have docs and sheets and slides that you're going to be able to edit and create from within Publist. But what's really cool is because of how we've built our backend and how we're focused on being connected to all the apps you use and being able to manage any file type, you'll be able to edit files from all of your other apps within our Publist apps. So for example, if you have an Excel doc or like an Excel sheet sitting in Publist that was connected with your OneDrive, you'll be able to edit it in Publist Sheets. And then all the changes will be reflected back into OneDrive and back into the original Excel sheet. And it's the same goes with all of these apps. Pretty much, you know, any file type from any of your apps, you'll be able to edit them here, and all the changes will be synced.
So you are bringing the old desktop experience into the new cloud world.
Exactly. We want everything to work together nicely. All these apps need to just start playing nice with each other.
We have a question, even though we answer most of the questions in the end, but this is really into the context from Zahid. Will there be a Dropbox? It was a question about the integrations. And there is a Dropbox already, isn't it?
Yeah, Dropbox is done.
Yeah, Dropbox is done. Somia, I wish SendPilot gets integrated. Somia, just feel free to reach out to Ben and they will look into it. And question, yeah, we will answer, Zahid, we will answer this one in the end of the webinar. So please stick here.
Awesome. And then here, really quick, you know, these apps that we're building are going to extend much farther than apps that you've already seen, like, you know, with Google apps like Google Docs and Sheets. We just have so much data. This is where it gets really interesting. Because of all our integrations, we have so much data, and there's so many interesting things we can do with it. So just a couple other ideas we thought of, like a Publist Visualize app, if you want to visualize data, say, from your spreadsheets. Publist Object Store for all you developers out there. And then even further than that, we want to open up apps to third-party developers. So, you know, we have all this data, and how we've built the backend, if there's any developers out there, instead of having to go build an entire app, you can just build it as a React component on top of our backend. And for the non-developers, all that really means is once you have an idea for an app that uses some of our data, you can build it just quickly in a day or so instead of taking weeks to actually, you know, build the whole structure behind it. And so we're going to open this up to third-party developers, and you're just going to see tons of new apps eventually, just like you would on the iOS App Store, because anybody then can build apps on our platform.
Amazing. Ben, I have to repeat it, but I really love the angle you guys found. Like that you're not finding all these like regular and usual ways to monetize and find a business model, but you're actually creating like the ecosystem on top of all the cloud solutions already out there, and you're giving opportunity to other developers to actually make money too, like similar like Apple did when they released App Store. That's amazing.
No, I love it too, and that's why we're able to do things like, you know, let you bring your own storage with S3. It's like, if you don't want to pay us for storage, that's fine. You know, storage is a very small aspect of our plan. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's a quick overview of Publist, and I'm sure we can get to questions later, but we can probably move into you know, actually poking around in Publist and seeing what it can do.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, let's jump into it.
Awesome. So
before we will start, everybody, we are talking about workflow optimization hacks. So if you are still considering Publist, and if it's actually for you, in this webinar, we will tell you how you can optimize your workflow with Publist. And Ben will tell us some cool tricks he actually uses, or you can use in your like day life to actually to optimize your workflow. So let's get into it.
Yeah. Awesome. So tons of cool tricks. And you know, if some of you guys were here for our productivity podcast, you might have heard me say this already, but one of the most interesting things, you know, before I get into the actual tricks, one of the most interesting things we found when we were building out the product is that all sorts of people had already come up with ways to have Publist-like features, just like made themselves with other apps. So like I found tons of people were like using Zapier to connect all of their apps into one cloud storage, so all their files would be in one place. I found that people were, you know, putting lists of files in Google Docs so they could keep all their files in one place for their teams, and like actually build workflows that use multiple apps. And so it was really interesting to see what people were already doing, and that's sort of how we decided how we needed to build Publist and how we needed to help people do those things more efficiently. So really quick, for those of you guys who are new, here we've got all of our connected apps. And so all the ways that I, you know, make my workflow more efficient with Publist sort of revolve around.
So Ben, connected apps means all the apps I actually decided to connect into the Publist. Now there can be like Gmail, Dropbox, or here DocuSign, SFTP, pCloud, and pretty much anything there in the left panel under connected apps, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So any of the apps that you use, you can connect to Publist, and these are the ones that we've built. We've got these 11 here, and then we've got all sorts of new apps coming soon. So for those of you guys that were requesting new apps, here's everything we've already decided to build, and feel free to, you know, suggest anything else that you'd want to add here. So Yeah, this is how I make myself and my workflow more productive with Publist, because I've got all my connected apps, and then now all of a sudden, if I need to create a project that's going to involve files that were sent to me on Gmail that were already in my Dropbox, and maybe files from Trello where I want to record my productivity or what have you, I've got them all already here. So when I start a project, all I've got to do is go through my connected apps, or even use the search function here, and find all of the different files I'll need for the project. And then you can see I've got folders here that are just full of, oh, this one's all Google Docs, but I've got folders here that are full of files from all sorts of different apps. Mm-hmm. So that makes things really quick. And then one of the things we're thinking about building in the future as well is, an automatic, like, synced folders. And this was actually some feedback from in the group, where you could automatically pull files from like a Dropbox folder into Publist, or from a Google Drive folder into Publist, so you can centralize things automatically. Let me go through another project I have. Let's see.
Can you tell me what exactly is Cloud Drives in the left part above the connected apps? I see personal files, Publist, and PitchGround. Can I add whatever Cloud Drive I want there, or how these three did actually appear there?
Yeah, totally. So I made these. So your personal files comes by default. Mm-hmm. And this is just where I put stuff that's not about work. But the other two I can create, and these are just like your top level folders. Mm-hmm. And when I create them, here's the really interesting thing. You can choose how you want the files stored. So the easiest way to do it is just to click Publish Drives, and that'll mean that we'll store all of your files on our backend.
Before we'll jump into the technicals, when do you usually create this folder? Like, is it before you're starting some project, or when is the good part to create a Cloud Drive?
Yeah, so usually I'll create a Cloud Drive, like for I have one for Publist. Mm-hmm. I have one for PitchGround. So for my really big projects.
Okay, so it shouldn't be some minor task you need to finish.
I usually wouldn't. I mean, you can feel free to, but usually I would make a folder inside one of these. So yeah, that's the first thing I would do with a new project is I'd make a Cloud Drive, and then I'd make a new folder. So here we can make like a webinar project. Mm-hmm. And then next, I would go through my apps, and let's say for this webinar, we already went over that press tour. That press tour was sent to me in Slack, so I could just search for press tour, and I've got it here from Slack. Mm-hmm. And so I can drag that into Publist. I guess it's being a bit slow right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I could drag that into Publist and have the press tour here in the webinar folder. So when we start the webinar, we can go over that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So it actually takes some server time to actually process the copying of the folder or of the file, right?
Yeah, this is what we're working on right now. This is why we hired these two new engineers. It's just so many people are using Publist now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guys, what you've just seen that Ben actually dragged the press tour into the Publist. It didn't appear there. It's because of the server load. There is because of the PitchGround launch, and so many people are using Publist right now. But Ben and Will just hired 2 more developers, so they're working on it. So this won't happen actually. So don't worry.
Yeah, definitely. And for a lot of those bugs, a lot of times it'll be fixed if you just refresh the page.
Yeah, and I mean, every time when you want to show something live, it gets wrong. So anyway, guys, I see you are asking a lot of questions. I see them all. Please be here till the end, because we are answering all the questions in the end of the webinar. So we'll answer them, don't worry.
Yeah, definitely. So another little hack that I use pretty much daily is I'll actually put you know, files from Trello or boards from Trello into these folders.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about sync folders. I jumped into it, so you didn't actually finish your thought about sync folders.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just love to see, you know, we got a lot of feedback about folders that could be synced to other folders in your connected apps.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe I'd have just a cloud storage folder or a cloud storage drive, and then I could actually sync folders from my Dropbox and Google Drive. So if I'm working out of Dropbox and I put a new file into Dropbox, it'll automatically be backed up into Publist. Because right now, you know, I automatically have everything from my Dropbox here in the connected app, but it's not automatically found in my cloud drive unless I drag it over. So just a feature that, you know, me and I know a lot of other people would love to see, and we could build soon.
Impressive. Okay, so Trello.
Trello, yeah, I love taking, you know, you can see my Trello here, and all the time, because we manage like all of our productivity and everything we're doing in Trello. So I like to actually take these boards and put them into some of my Publist projects. So then if I'm, say, working on the, you know, on a marketing project and I complete a task and I'm already working out of this folder, I just open up the board, slide over the card, and then close it. And it's really quick and easy to do right there. The next most interesting thing that I can do with these projects is, you know, anytime anything's sent to me, normally, and before I use Publist, I would have to, like, let's say Will sent me, you know, some marketing materials, and I wanted to put it into my marketing folder here. I would have had to open up Slack and download it, and then find that file in Finder, and then, you know, drag it into my cloud storage. But now, you know, anything that he sends me on Slack, it's automatically right here. And so I know it's already in Publist, and then if I want to put it into one of my projects, I can. And the same goes for Gmail attachments. And then if we go through the connected apps, I mean, there's tons of other ways I can do that. Like if, you know, if he uploaded something to DocuSign that I needed to sign, I could sign it, and then, you know, I want to keep track of my records, right? So I'll just drag it into my Publist folder from there.
So I can just create a folder with the title legal, and everything will be automatically synced into this legal folder from DocuSign.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Man, you're doing a great job considering that you woke up like 30 minutes ago. You're giving some really golden nuggets here.
Yeah, I'm definitely still waking up. Let me catch up on some sleep after all this customer support. Yeah, so those are the main ones I use every day. And you know, we've had tons of other ideas and things, you know, from everybody. But those are the biggest ones that I'm using every single day.
And I'm pretty sure that our viewers and your new users will find more and more ways. I mean, that's one of the best ways best things when you're creating something new, that you will discover all these new methods people are using actually your product, which is always amazing to see, because it will give you the best feedback you can actually get as a startup founder.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me of another really interesting thing. Because, you know, lots of people have been talking about what we're going to do with shared links and embeddable folders or embeddable videos and pictures and whatnot. And I actually got a message from somebody yesterday saying that he had actually made a Publist note, and then he'd put a bunch of images of the car he was trying to sell in here, and then a bunch of text and everything. And he was just taking the share link here and using it to sell his car, which I never would have guessed. So we're already getting tons of new use cases. And he said he loved it. You know, he couldn't have done that with Dropbox. With Dropbox, he would have had to, you know, make or even Google Drive, he would have had to make a Google Doc, then he would have had to share it with everybody. And with Publist, it was so quick and easy to just make that doc to sell the car and then share this link around wherever he needed to.
That's interesting. I mean, that's why it's super important to actually listen to your users and put focus on it. And I think you're doing a great job at this particular thing, because you're active in our group like 24/7. So what do you think is one of the most like valuable things you learned so far from the PitchGround community?
Let's see, there's been so much. I love, these Wistia-like features that we've been talking about building, just embedding videos and photos onto a website. I never would have thought of that myself.
Oh, really? So it was clear, it was only from PitchGround?
Yeah, we got the idea from PitchGround. So that was a great one, because I wouldn't have thought of that, but it makes so much sense, because you have all of your photos and videos here on Publist, and a lot of people are trying to put those photos and videos online. So why not just be able to embed them directly from Publist where they're stored?
I mean, in the end, it's all about like removing the friction, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's creating this centralized workspace where you can do everything from one place. It's an amazing and ambitious mission. All right, so let's just see what are you working on right now. So can you just open your roadmap so we can see what we can expect? And guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment under the live video or here on Zoom, and we'll be answering them after the roadmap.
Awesome. Yeah. So here we've got all the new features we're going to be building, and tons of these were, suggested in PitchGround, as we mentioned. So these are, we tried to order these a bit, but they're not completely in the order that we're going to build. So we already have two-factor authentication built. So, if you guys want to make your files even more secure than they already are on Publist, you can go ahead and do that. We're going to build client-side encrypted storage. Now, if any of you guys are using pCloud, you've already seen this. This would be like a special like vault folder on Publist that just has another layer of encryption built onto it. It's just for your most important files, and it could be locked with a password or whatever you need to do. We're going to be building lots of new integrations. So you guys saw that integrations page on Publist. We're going to be going through those as quick as we can and getting any of the integrations that you guys have requested. So we're going to be building a trash can and file retention. And this just means that right now in Publist, if I want to delete something, I just click delete right here and it's gone. But with this trash can, I'll be able to drag files into the trash, and then they'll be there until I empty my trash, just to make sure you don't accidentally lose anything. File
retention means that you can actually just take it out from the trash and make it live again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the advanced sorting, right now, you can search based on titles, but we've got all this information about your files, like where it came from, who it's shared with, dates, what type of file it is. And so we want to make it so you can sort by those just to find your files easier. And then, another feature to make it easier to find your files, we want to add to our search features. So right now, if I use this search bar in Publist, I'm only searching the titles of the files. So you have to remember what it was called. But we want to make it so you can search through all the content as well, just to make it even easier. And then, as we talked
in practice, it means that I don't remember the file name, but I remember sort of like one sentence which was in a file. And if I will just type part of the sentence into the search field, it will find it anyway, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then here's the file embedding. So this is, the features, just like you can see in Wistia, that we're going to be adding. This is if you want to, embed PDFs, videos, images, anything onto your website, and you have the file stored in the Publist, you can go ahead and do that. So next is white labeling, and we're taking this week to really hash out exactly how our agency features are going to work and how we're going to allow people to become resellers of Publist. But that'll be coming eventually, and we'll be announcing, how we decided to do this. So we're going to come out with a desktop app, hopefully towards the end of this month. And that has a bunch of new interesting features that we didn't have on the web app. So first, it'll be just more convenient to open up your desktop app. And then also you'll be able to do some interesting things like sync to a file on your desktop. So, maybe you have a file on your desktop you want to just drag things into, you can sync it to Publist. We're going to be able to add more storages when you create your Publist drives. So as you saw, you can use Amazon S3 if any of you guys use that to store your files instead of Publist. And we're going to just be adding even more options there, like DigitalOcean, Backblaze, and a few more. We're going to make it so you can save and share documents to any of your apps. So right now, you can only drag files from a connected app into Publist, but we want to make it go both ways. So you can drag files between your connected apps from Publist into one of your apps. So you can move things in any way from any of your apps or drives.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make these drives shared. So one of the things that frustrates me about Google Drive is whenever I have a drive or a folder, the permissions, like, they work, but they're not super easy because on all sorts of files I have to be changing permissions to share things. And we want to make it so the whole drive can be shared with somebody, and then to say I wanted to give a file to you, I would just drag it into our shared drive. A link sharing portal. So what I was talking about with the guy using shared links to sell his car. We want to have a portal so you can see all of the links that you shared and all the information about them there. Next up would be a Chrome extension. So this is just one way to make it even easier to find your files. If you have Chrome up, you can just open our Chrome extension, search for files there. And then you'll also be able to find all of your downloads from Chrome. Mm-hmm. Then we'll be building a download manager. So that can sync with all of your downloads. You can find them in Publist. A media player. So right now you can play videos and you can view images and a few other files, but we want to expand on that, make it so you can listen to audio, do anything you need. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we're going to build a mobile app. So this will come after we've launched the desktop app, just to make it even easier to have all your files with you wherever you go. And so you'll be able to use that on iOS or Android. And then, as we talked about a lot earlier, we're going to be building out this app suite with our, docs, spreadsheets, slides, and more, and then opening up the apps to the third-party developers. So anybody can start building apps on Publist.
Impressive. So this all should be ready before July 2020.
That's the plan.
All right. And I believe that there will be more things added to this roadmap after you will get more and more feedback from users, right?
Yeah, always.
All right. So let's jump right into the Q&A. But before we'll do, let me share my screen quickly. And because we are almost finished with our webinars, and tomorrow there is one more, so make sure you will join as well. And we got actually quite good comment from Mario Gonzalez, and he wrote just, "Now I'm sold." And guys, you should be sold as well, because this deal is just a no-brainer, and you can buy it for $49, and you will get 500 gigabyte storage and 2 accounts per app. Now, what 2 accounts per app means? It means that you will get 2 accounts per app. An app is, for example, Gmail. So if you have 2 email accounts on Gmail, it will allow you to connect those 2 accounts under this license. But if you need more, you can just buy this add-on pack, and it will add you 5 accounts per app per integration. Now, if you need more, more accounts, if you need more storage, there are options for it as well. You can choose 2 terabytes, you can choose 4 terabytes, or if you need unlimited accounts per app, you can choose 6 terabytes plan for $695. You can purchase on pitchground.com/products/publist with capital P, and plans are starting on $49. So let's start. Let's jump into the questions. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I will stop sharing my screen now. And can you please share your screen?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
There we go.
All right, so first question from Mario. Can we add notes to these things gathered via Web Clipper?
Yeah, so that's something that we want to add in once we have our Chrome extension. but you can't currently. But it is something that we're going to work on then.
All right. So how would it actually work? That you use Web Clipper and then or do you have idea right now?
Yeah, we're still hashing it out, but say I was on a website that I wanted to save really quickly to Publist. I can do that with the Chrome extension and then go back to it later, just a saved version of the page I was on.
Okay. Question from Tony Astro. Really simple question. Mobile app? Question mark.
Yes, definitely on the roadmap. We're going to release the desktop app first, and then we're going to get working on that as quickly as we can. We've actually got somebody we're trying to hire to build that mobile app, so we can get it working on it sooner. So we'll see how quick that goes.
All right, perfect. Another question from Tony. I have a Google Suite. What's the difference? Will it conflict?
No, not at all. In fact, we integrate with Google. If you're already working in Google, you can find files from Gmail, Google Drive, and our apps do a few different things that the Google apps don't. So they're more about connectivity and being able to edit all your files from all your apps.
Amazing. Question from Zahid. Can we upgrade the storage if we need more later on?
Yeah, so during the lifetime deal, if you need more storage, you can always purchase more storage, and those codes and coupons stack. And then later, we're going to be back to a subscription model. So if you need more storage, whatever you pay for monthly, we'll just add on to the storage that you already bought for life. All
right, amazing. And I think that's it. Zahid had actually one more question. Can we use links to folders to deliver content? But I think you actually answered it like that. In the future, you will have the option to share the whole folder with the contents in it.
Yeah, well, you can do that now. So I can send a link to, if somebody has it published as well, you can just get a link here by clicking on a folder.
All right, so I need to have published.
Yeah.
And what if I don't have published and I will click this link?
Well, that'll be coming in the future.
All right, so I will be actually able to open it even without published.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, right now it's a quite cool growth hack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Ben, I think that's it. Guys, if you have any more questions, just keep them coming. And we'll be answering them. But if we didn't cover some of your questions or anything today, tomorrow you have a last chance to ask us live, because we're going live on Facebook again for the last time. And the topic will be, do you know what the topic will be?
Yeah, I think tomorrow.
How to securely sync, share, and store your files.
Syncing and migrating all your data. So we've got all these connected apps. We just want to show you how to get it all into Publist if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we'll be covering. And it will be, I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah, so tomorrow, how to securely share, sync, and migrate your data. And of course, there will be time for Q&A as well. So if you have any related questions to Publist, not only to this topic, join us tomorrow and we will answer them. And before you will join us, make sure you will go to pitchground.com/products/Publist with a capital P, and you will grab your license already. This deal is pretty impressive, and I think if you're using any cloud storage, you need to have this. Tell me more about this. This is pretty impressive, like that you're backed by VC.
We're venture backed. We've got plenty of investors, and actually 2 more as of last week. So Inspiration, as you can see here, is our lead investor. They've invested in all sorts of interesting companies. Buffer's the biggest one that everybody's heard of, and User Testing is a pretty good one as well. But yeah, we've raised money from them, and a lot of people have been talking about, we have such an ambitious vision. How are we going to be able to build it all? And this is how we're taking on a lot of money here in San Francisco, and we're going to start hiring pretty aggressively soon, so we can get more people to work on all the apps and features we need.
I actually don't want to end this webinar like right now because I have some questions about how did it all go. Like, did you need to knock on like 100 doors to get this investment, or
No,
was
no. I don't know how. So Will raised the money from inspiration, and got it. It practically fell into his lap. He had just met this investor and was just talking about Publist, and the guy really liked it. So that's how come to invest. And it's been a similar story with most of our investors. It's just been people here in San Francisco that we've just been pretty casually talking to about Publist, and then they end up approaching us and wanting to invest. So it was much easier than I would have expected. Hopefully that continues.
I mean, that's the San Francisco environment, right? Everybody's looking for good ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
So we weren't going door to door, preaching about Publist.
Yeah, always, like, it seems always quite weird when I hear these stories that people needed to talk to like 200 investors before they got any money. I mean, just I don't know. It's just weird.
Right.
Especially in the environment like San Francisco, I just create something amazing, and I think like people will approach you. Like,
yeah, if you have a great app, it definitely is a lot easier.
You already had like had it developed, right? Or was it in idea stage?
Sorry, we had a what?
You had it already developed, or was it in idea stage?
Yes. So since Inspiration invested in us, we pivoted a bit.
Okay.
Because before we were actually connecting to news sources, so people could get all of their information in one place. And then just talking to customers, we found out that we could really easily repurpose it for files. And that just ended up being
right. So that's the origin of the name Publist.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes more sense when you're thinking about news, right?
Yeah. I was thinking, why Publist? And this is actually old logo, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the old logo. So now we've got the
you have a new one. You have with the tree.
So it's been great.
All right, Ben, it was amazing. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, great talking to you, always.
Yeah, guys, everybody, join tomorrow. We'll be discussing some interesting stuff. If we didn't answer your questions today, we'll answer them tomorrow, I promise. All right, thanks a lot and take care.
Talk to you all soon.
Bye.